All right, guys. Well, I am here to serve in my official capacity as commissioner of the league and do the recap, even though it's not very good for me. So we'll go ahead and get that out of the way. Steve got extremely lucky. I thought I was getting lucky there for a minute with Josh Allen shitting the bed on Sunday Night Football and in front of the entire world. That was pretty terrible performance for Josh Allen. But, it looked like Jameson Williams on Monday night wasn't going to do anything. He was a terrible play, and Steve knew he was a bad play, and he was going to need a fluke long touchdown to win. And the Seahawks just decided not to cover him on one random play in the fourth quarter. So, game was almost over. Meaningless touchdown. They won by 13. Didn't even need to score it. Seahawks just fuck you forever. That's where I'm at. The Seahawks basically just decided to turn Jameson Williams loose and cost me my game, and now I'm 1-3. But we don't cry about it. We push forward, as you've seen. We continue to make deals and we fight till the bitter end. Even if we're going down, we go down swinging. So, that being said, congratulations, Steve, for beating me for the first time in, I think, 5 years. Really crazy run I've had of just slapping Steve down for years, but Steve gets it done this time, and he should be congratulated for that. He's 4-0, off to a great start. Drafted well, managing his team well. Not much else I can say there. Now, we have Jason just beating the brakes off of Jared. Just a vicious, brutal beating. And you look at it, yeah, Derrick Henry had 32.9, but Jason had 7 different players score at least 10 points. That's a winning formula, folks. 128.24, Jason's new high watermark on the season. Just a mega week for Jason. On Jared's side of things, wasn't too bad. There was nothing you could have done to win this one. I mean, you didn't have the points on your bench. You weren't going to overcome 44 points. It sucks. There's nothing you can do. You just got overmatched and you got your ass kicked. I expect better days for you going forward. David Montgomery, by the way, vastly underrated running back. He is awesome. David Montgomery, if you didn't watch that game last night, go watch the highlights. Very impressive stuff from David Montgomery. Now, we have the resurgent Joe beating Paul, and now Joe's won a couple in a row, and he's at 2-2. Look out now. Reasons for optimism from Joe. Jahmyr Gibbs getting 2 short yardage touchdowns. That bodes well for Jahmyr Gibbs. If Montgomery punches both of those in too, and Monty has 3 rushing touchdowns, it might be time to start getting a little concerned, but that's not how it went down. They trust Gibbs near the goal line just as much as Monty. It just depends on which one of them's on the field that given time. Now, it's a good thing Joe traded for Chase Brown because I'm pretty sure he took Zach Moss's job this last week. We'll see how it goes, but I'm pretty sure Chase Brown's just going to be the guy. DK Metcalf, kind of a meh effort. Overall, though, solid game from Joe's team. Big performers Jordan Mason and Jahmyr Gibbs, and Mike Evans just never gets older. Mike Evans just keeps balling. On Paul's side of things, he actually had, I think, his biggest effort of the season at almost 91 points. It's rough down here at the bottom, Paul. I sympathize. I am also 1-3. It's not fun. But you got to get off your ass and do something about it. You can't just ride this ship to the bottom of the ocean. You got to do something. So now you're not doing anything. Do more. Now, the Patriarch destroying Lamb of Godwin. Just, they're going to have to call child services on this one because Senior beat the crap out of Tony here. This is a 40-point drubbing in this one. 21 of that 40-point gap can be explained away with Lamar Jackson versus Anthony Richardson, and anybody in the world could have seen that coming. Not shocked that Richardson's hurt again. Very surprising that Rome Odunze only got 1 point in a matchup with the Rams, who have just been atrocious as a secondary. That sucks. Wouldn't expect that to continue. Chuba Hubbard, let's start with the positivity here. Chuba Hubbard, CeeDee Lamb, both fantastic efforts for Tony. Now let's talk about what Tony should be concerned about. Bijan Robinson still splitting work with Tyler Algier, who actually outscored him this week. I don't know why the Falcons spent that early a pick on Bijan to not feature him, but they're not featuring him. Nobody knows why. Chris Godwin kind of come back down to earth game a little bit, but that being said, Chris Godwin was a steal in the draft. He's fantastic. Great high-end wide receiver too, week in, week out. Isaiah Likely's not rosterable. Devon Achane's getting there. This offense needs Tua back desperately. This just unwatchable. Did anybody catch that Dolphins-Titans game? I had to turn it off. I had to move on to something else. It was awful. Those are two terrible offenses. I'm glad I don't have any pieces of either of them. Jared's going out acquiring them like they're Pokemon or something. I don't know why he wants more Dolphins, but hey, I guess if Tua comes back and they manage to keep him in a bubble that somehow he can throw a football out of, but not be touched, I think he'll be, things will be a lot better. Now, we're looking at worthy of our trust, Trey knocking off Kevin, and Kevin's on quite the downward spiral. Good news on Rashee Rice, though. It looks like he's not out for the year, just the fantasy season. So that kind of sucks. But in any event, great job moving off of Tyreek Hill. He's useless until Tua comes back, and then Tua will likely get hurt again. And the Dolphins will be sued out of existence and won't even be playing in the NFL at that point. You look at Jaden Daniels, the bright spot on Kevin's team, and of course Kyren Williams, who's just an every week workhorse RB1. Just an absolute stud, probably the best player in fantasy. Jaden Daniels, there's a real conversation to be had about, is he just the QB1 moving forward? Or is he RG3, who was QB1 through 4 weeks on the same Commanders team, running a very simple vanilla scheme, lots of short passes, only throws to one side of the field, runs a lot. To me, the similarities are absolutely uncanny. And it's what's made me a little hesitant on making a Jaden Daniels offer. I could see him falling off hard as the season comes on. And these defenses realize he only throws to his right. And he only throws within like 5 yards of the line of scrimmage for 90% of the game. So, that being said, if he keeps rushing for 50-plus yards, he's going to be a fantasy force. There's no way around that. Jaden Daniels looking like one of the better values in the draft at quarterback, if not the best. On Trey's side of things, congratulations, man. Even though you got a 0 from Kyle Pitts, you got a huge game from Nico Collins, who might be the wide receiver 1 in fantasy. CJ Stroud finally got together with a 20-point effort. Got to start wondering, is it time to bench Drake London and Kyle Pitts, though? This Atlanta passing game sucks. The only guy doing anything there is Darnell Mooney, ironically enough, which is kind of crazy. But congratulations getting off the snide. I will see you guys on Thursday for a matchup preview.